Hello, before we start the meeting, please help yourself to food. There's food that's been put out. It's going to get cold if you don't take it while it's hot.
Can everyone get their food and have a seat so we could get started? We have a lot on our agenda tonight. Please, thank you. Craig, can you come to the front? So if everyone can have a seat once you get your food. Craig, where are you going? Welcome, everyone, to La Raza Roundtable meeting. We're really happy that we're doing this thing that's focusing on our different heritage months. And so this month of March is a focus on women, mujeres. Where are the women? Please stand up. Yes, mujeres. And so with that, both of our guest speakers today are also women. And so we want to go ahead. Before we get started, Craig is going to do a land acknowledgement.
Forgot all about that, Carla. Thank you. OCO, my name is Craig. I'm with the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma and also the Modoc Nation of Northern California. But today we stand on the tribal homelands of the Ohlone tribes. Collectively, one of the tribes here is the Muwekma Ohlone tribe, also the Amun Matsoon, and a little further south past Morgan Hill, the Esalen Nation. So this is their land, we are guests, and we appreciate the opportunity to do honor with their land. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. And then can we call up Chief Mata, who will help us with blessing for today?
Thank you. Can we all please bow our heads? Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day and for bringing us together. We ask that you continue to provide us with the strength and courage to help those in need. Lord, as we start this season of new beginnings, continue to watch over us. Grant us the strength and wisdom to provide new beginnings for our neighbors through kindness and love. Gracious God, give us clarity and direction in our discussions today so that we can better understand and help others. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Thank you for that. And that reminds me, I think I also want to acknowledge the people that built La Raza Roundtable. Of course, Victor Garza, may he rest in peace, and everyone who was a founding member. I know Raul was also a founding member. And I want to acknowledge Rose Amador, who's not here today. She's out of town, but she's one of the mujeres on La Raza Roundtable, and just, you know, the acknowledgement of all the work that she's done. And then taking a moment of not just the women in the space here, but all of you who have mothers and grandmothers and sisters and the women in your life that made an impact, and those that have passed and those that you still have. Let's take a moment and acknowledge all those women and mujeres. Thank you. So with that, we're excited to have our guest speakers tonight, and I believe one of you is gonna, yeah. Así, gracias, Raúl. Oh, this is my first time. My name is Carla Torres, and this is my first time facilitating this meeting, so yay. Yay, thank you. And I'm one of the newbies here on La Raza Roundtable, and I wanted to thank Raúl Colunga for inviting me to be a part of this leadership team. And he saw that maybe I had some worth and value in adding to this very important organization, so I appreciate it. But if you have a complaint about me, tell Raúl, not me. So with that, can we go around and everybody will... Do we use this one or? Cuida, okay. So we'll start and you just say your name, and if you want to say anything about yourself, and to identify yourself, however you want to identify, whether it's your organization or otherwise.
I'm Ramon Martinez from La Raza Historical Society, and I won't tell you my age, but I'm Chicano Commencement 1 at San Jose State, and this year they're celebrating like the 60th year. That's why I can't stand up.
Oh, my phone. I better hold off. My name is Lonnie Contreras. I, too, am a board member, along with Ramon here, working in development. I represent Mission City Federal Credit Union, but I was invited to this organization, and I'm really excited because I want to do things and make changes and follow up.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Derek Rodriguez. I was born and raised here in San Jose. This is my home. I'm a veteran of the United States Army. I'm a student at Mission College, and I'm a board aide for Supervisor Betty Young. Thank you.
Dr. Peter Nguyen, family medicine, board member of Connection.
Mike or Miguel Correa from a little town of Chole, Soledad, Chicano from the late 60s. And I've been active all my life, but things have been too quiet, and I don't like that because we are being overwhelmed as a gente, as raza y la indiada. And like I said, hey, we got to get back on the road, man, and la marcha. Again, Mike Miguel Correa, thank you.
My name is Megan. I'm here on behalf of the Office of Senator Dave Cortese, representing the 15th Senate District, and just happy to be here. Yeah.
Teresa Castellanos, San Jose Unified School District, and I work for the Santa Clara County Office of Immigrant Relations. Buenas tardes.
Lori Ramos Chavez, Vice President here at Connection.
Thanks, Lori. Hey everyone, my name is Tamara Mosawani Alvarado, and I'm here on behalf of Calpulli Ocelo Siwat. And I don't know, I live down the street, and La Raza Roundtable has been very special to me for a long time.
Hello, my name is Max Aniga. I'm the captain of the Foothill Division with San Jose Police Department.
Catherine McBain from the Office of the Independent Police Auditor.
Hi, Marcia Hovey, Director of Collaborating Agencies Disaster Relief Effort, here to learn and see how we could partner.
Thank you. Dennis King, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm not a founder of the Raza Roundtable, but I've only been coming for 30 years, so I'm getting close, getting close. Who do we thank for the feast tonight, Raul?
Carla's husband prepared it, but Carla's donating.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hi, good to be here. John Honer, trustee on Morgan Hill Unified, one of the ones who was lucky enough to have hired Dr. Garcia, and also lucky to consider Dennis a good friend.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adam Escoto, and I'm a retired educator and also one of the former board members that hired Carmen Garcia, one of the best things we ever did. And 60 years ago, I was with Dr. Ramon Martinez at that walkout.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Damon Silver. I'm your acting public defender for the County of Santa Clara.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ernesto Barajas. I represent the Castel Neighborhood Association. Thank you.
Hello, it's Ken Tran. I'm the Western Division of the San Jose Police Department.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Domingo Jimenez. I'm a program coordinator for the cultural broker here at Conexión.
Good evening, Tony Mara with the Santa Clara District Attorney's Office and Enlace Mentor.
Did everybody introduce themselves?
Hi, everyone. My name is Mabel. I work here at Conexión. I'm the program director.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alexander Gavato. I'm here from the Office of County Supervisor Ottilie. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Caroline Mireles Saylor here at Conexión, Day Worker Center Program, and also Bright Futures.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angeline Alcudia, and I'm a junior at YP.
Hello, everyone. My name is Felipe Romero. I'm an immigration defense attorney with Human Agenda.
Thank you. And this gentleman's trying to escape, but
Hi, everyone. My name is Jackson. I'm with Councilmember Big Bone, District 7 office. I'm one of his staff.
thank you. And our special guest who's doing our Floricanto, Rebecca Perez Ochoa, is in the back setting up. She brought some special salsa that she makes and chips. And also, this is Social Work Appreciation Month, and we represent social workers, so give it up for social workers, too. Before we get started with our guest speaker, our San Jose City Council member, Bien Duong, is always here, and this is his neighborhood, and we will be able to give him a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly. Thank you very much. It's amazing that we have almost every single ethnicity here, and from different, professional career here to support the La Raza, and it just warmed my heart, and I'm proud to be part of the La Raza, and I'll continue to come here and try to break all the records that I can be here on almost every event. But I just want to a quick update for you guys is that recently at the council, we passed through what you call, through the Rules Committee, called the Van Lords. So what it is we preventing bad actors from getting unsafe, dilapidated van trailers or even RVs to put out on our street that create blights, create biohazard, hazardous material, fire hazard, and unsafe condition for our unsheltered resident. The second one I want to give you an update is we just passed what you call the peddler memorandum. And I think we should change the name into what you call unpermitted vendors. And we're not here to punish the unpermitted vendors. We want to encourage them to come and get a permit. Well, we have the funding through, I forgot which group that have Armando and Mimi Hernandez. That group had funding to help already 14 unpermitted vendors to do so, and then there's 14 more on the way. So it's incredible that we stop people from human trafficking, right? Wage theft, and then we help people to be part of the community. And not only that, when they have permit, they can join a lot of city events, and they'll make a lot more money than being oppressed out there. And that's what our goal, to help people, not to suppress people. And then I have a couple more quick announcement. We have Tropicana, April 6th. Please come out and support us. April 6th at 1 o'clock, we're going to have the police department, many other city departments, including the fire, the mayor, elected officials to come out there. The immigrant businesses is open. It is safe for our immigrant to go out and shop and eat, and we're there with them. We want to make sure they know that we are here to protect and serve them as anybody else, okay? And then we got a dumpster day this weekend on Saturday over there at 7th Tree. So if you need to have your constituent dump something, come on out there. And then we have an abatement for our creek out here. Let's start over at Tully Library, and at the end of this month, we'll have that done, and then we'll move on the south end, and then we'll start the abatement over here after that. So be prepared. Don't be surprised that we'll have a lot of team out here cleaning up, helping our unsheltered to find places and away from living in creek, parks, and street, and so on. So that's really good news. For those who own businesses, we still have, coming up in July, we'll have more funding for what you call the storefront grant that'll help you to beautify your storefront, if you will, from sign and so on. Also, we will have funding for National Night Out. That's where we need to reach out to all the neighborhood, make sure we have neighborhood association or neighborhood watch. That's extremely important to protect our community. And the last thing I want to say is the night market is right down the road. It's happening tonight. So come out there after this, enjoy yourself, and piggyback on the fact that I say this about women. We all exist on this earth because we have a mother, and she's a woman. Therefore, we need to respect, protect, and support them. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful night.
And if you want to give us any of those flyers so we can post, just let us know. Thank you so much. And I think Raul is going to come up and introduce our first guest speaker, Dr. Carmen. Are we doing Dr. Carmen Garcia? Okay.
Good evening. For those that don't know me, I'm Raul Colunga. I'm one of the original founders for La Raza Roundtable. And you can bring your complaints to me because I did recruit Carla. With that, Dr. Carmen Garcia is originally from Jalisco, Mexico, and she was raised in Southern California. She's a passionate educator committed to student success. She holds a BA in History and Spanish from the University of San Diego, a master's in education, and a doctorate from USC. With 27 years of experience in the roles of such roles as teacher, researcher, principal, superintendent, Dr. Garcia has dedicated her career to improving educational systems, ensuring all students have the support they need to reach their potential. She believes that education is the key to unlocking opportunities and continues to work towards making a difference in students' lives. Dr. Garcia and her husband, Dr. Gabriel Gutierrez, have 3 children, Sofia, Emma, and Sebastian. With that, I'll invite her up to make her comments.
Thank you so much. That was lovely. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you. I am absolutely in awe of the history, collective history you all represent, and I stand on your shoulders. So thank you so much for the causa and how you pushed that so that I could present to you years later. I have a bit of a PowerPoint, and so I have it divided into 3 different areas. The first one, thank you for reading my bio. I wanted to be able to, I was told to turn it on. I've turned it on. There we go. So I think if you were to summarize who Carmen is, this is the quote. Quality education is the world's greatest equalizer because it opens doors of opportunity. I live it, I know it, that's my moral compass. That's what continues to push me when it gets difficult out there, when there is resistance to change because we like status quos, and I like blowing up status quos. So I am from Jalisco, and anybody from Jalisco in the room? Anybody from Tepatitlan? Anybody from Guadalajara? Okay, so my family is 45 minutes northeast of Guadalajara. I am one of 10 kids. I'm the 9th out of 10. My father on the left came to the U.S. As a bracero with my grandfather and with his siblings. And as you all know, the bracero program ended, but the migration did not. And so my father continued to traverse back and forth illegally And it wasn't until the 1970s that if you had a U.S.-born child, you remember that, you could bring your family. So one of my brothers was born in the U.S., and as a result, it took us 10 years, but we came in the early 80s. And so that is 10 of us in the middle. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment where my parents had the one room, my 3 other sisters had the other, and my 6 brothers slept in the living room in little colchonetas that you would round up. So both of my parents only were able to complete 4th grade in their respective home. And they knew, and they instilled in us the reason why we came to this country, which was for a chance of a better life. And a better life is through education, and I believe that that continues to be true. And so labels didn't define me. You know, oftentimes we put labels on our students, on our youth. You know, English learner, yes. Low income, yes. Immigrant, yes. Parents didn't graduate from high school, absolutely. The system took care of me and my siblings. And so that's one of the reasons why I became an educator, because gosh darn it, we weren't going to leave it up to chance. We weren't going to just beat the odds, right? Don't we like to highlight stories of this person beat the odds? Well, we should all be ashamed of that. Because the norm should be for all students to succeed, because all students are brilliant and students rise to the level of our expectation. And I've seen that in my career. I began my career in Long Beach Unified School District. Have you seen the movie Freedom Riders? So I taught at that high school. I also am a major geek, so I worked in the research department within Long Beach Unified as well. I've been a middle school principal, a high school principal, a lead high school principal, and well-versed in international baccalaureate. I love IB. I would love IB in Morgan Hill, but I gotta watch the pace of change. And I also learned from the best superintendent in the whole wide world, Carl Cohn. And I've been a superintendent. So these are my this is my moral compass and my beliefs. Quality education is an equalizer. Successfully designed educational systems do ensure student success. Like I said, we're not leaving it up to chance. Kids have to succeed. I also know and believe that students rise to the level of our expectation in 1 second. You walk into a classroom and the students know whether we care, whether we're genuine, whether they're loved, whether they're respected, whether they're believed in. They read us in half a second, and they know when their expectations are low, and they know when the expectations are high. I believe in targeted universalism, and maybe invite me back, and then I'll give you a whole lecture on this. But in short, targeted universalism, think of the curb cut. You know, the curb cut, initially, it was for ADA compliance, right? Handicap, to be able to, if they're on a wheelchair, they're able to access the curb. It equalizes, right? But were those on wheelchairs the only ones that benefited from the curb cut? The cut curbed? No, it's also those on rollerblades, or those on skates or bikes, right? Or moms with strollers, you know. So it's targeted universalism. You meet students at their point of need, and you support them, and all means all, each and every, full stop, period. So this is what we have been up to. We've been very busy in Morgan Hill. This is my 4th year in Morgan Hill. We represent 14 schools. We have 2 schools in South San Jose. The majority of our schools are in the city of Morgan Hill, and we have 1 school, a K-8, in San Martin. So that's who we are. We're about 8,000 students. About 54% are Latino. 23% are white, 7.7% are Asian, and you see the rest, the other little bubbles. We have 13% of our students have IEPs. 16% are learning a second language or a third language. About 41% qualify for free or reduced lunch. I believe that this is an undercount. A lot of our families are not filling out those applications for many reasons, and so I believe that there is a higher level of poverty in our school district. Humongous percentage of our students are homeless or unhoused or doubled up or tripled up. It's about 11%. We have about 27 students, so 0.34, who are foster, and 44.5 are unduplicated. So we have 3 goals. Every district has an LCAP. We love acronyms, so I apologize in advance. A local control accountability plan. our 3 goals in Morgan Hill are college and career readiness. We want to engage with our community, empower our community, and we want to engage and empower our students. Those are our 3 goals. And there's a lot of research out there with respect to what works in education, but I can tell you in short that there have been 256 factors that impact student achievement, and there are 2 that have, when implemented correctly, can advance students by 4 grades. Anyone want to guess? Anyone want to guess? And if you're my board members, you can't answer because you know this. A caring adult essentially is, does my teacher believe that I can succeed? Why do you think that is? Because they're not going to give up on the student, right? I believe you can succeed, and I'm going to stay here until you get it. So absolutely, it's the magic that happens between the teacher and the student. It's what we call the instructional core. It's the student, the teacher, and the curriculum. Is a curriculum at grade level. So we call that quality instruction, or Tier 1 supports. We have leveraged professional learning communities. We're a district that uses data a lot, so I'm going to be showing you some of the data. We believe in guaranteeing the curriculum that's vertically and horizontally aligned, so that it does not matter where you go to school. If you go to school in South San Jose or in San Martin, the experience should be the same in terms of rigor. We also believe in assessments, formative, the informal ones that the teachers create, and then the more formal ones, the summative, think like chapter tests or unit tests, et cetera. And we also are a multi-tiered systems of support that doesn't just support academics, but also social-emotional. And so this is our work around professional learning communities. So in short, every school has an instructional leadership team that has a representative from each grade level. And then the various grade levels then have a professional learning community where they meet once a week. We invested millions of dollars in music teachers and in PE teachers so that we can provide some planning time for teachers to meet on a weekly basis. And so this is where we think this is a sweet spot for sure. We've also added a 7th period at the high school level, and I'll share with you some of the great data points that we're getting out of that. And then we also empower our students. We mean it. President Horner often says, we don't want to do things to students, we want to do it with them. We seek their input. So we have a district-wide focus on engagement, and we have climate and culture teams that address all kinds of data points beyond academics. We have positive behavior interventions, and we also focus on welcoming our families. Something that happened 4 years ago when I started, a lot of the parents, because I do my monthly cafecitos, I bounce around Morgan Hill and the community. It's open to the community. It's not just open to parents. But I also don't expect parents to come to me. I go to them. So I go to apartment buildings and I call those my living room chats. And that's where you get some really good information. Okay, so all of that. Now let me show you what our work has produced. So I'll explain it to you. And so on the left-hand side, that's 1920. That was a year before COVID. And what you're looking at are suspensions, okay? The first bar is the suspension that's out of school. The second one, the orange one, is in-school suspension. Then the one that's right next to it is class suspension, and then the light blue is the total, okay? So pre-COVID, we had about 523 total suspensions in our district. And then COVID happens, and we had like 3. Why did we suspend when they were home? But okay, 3 total suspensions. And then we reopened. Do you guys remember, those of you that worked in education, when you reopened? Holy cow, the level of need, right? So they shot up, and the behavior continued to shoot up, but we invested positive behaviors interventions and supports at every single school, climate and cultures at every single school, where we are analyzing student needs and addressing their needs and not penalizing them. So now, go all the way to the right. So by the way, these data points are the same day, the same year. So we're comparing, so it's data taken as of March 18th of the specific school year. Okay, so on the left-hand side, that's 1920 on March 18th. So we have, does anybody want to, what's your first observation? The one all the way to the right. We've cut them in half, right? And it's not because we're not, disciplining students. We're addressing the root cause of what's happening. We're not there yet. Like, I'm still very unhappy with the fact that we keep suspending. Like, that's not okay. But I think we're certainly addressing our students and stepping in those gaps and supporting them. And then also with chronic absenteeism. Chronic absenteeism has a definition of if a student misses 10% of the school year. So if the school year has 185 days, you're chronically absent if you're missing 10% of that, so roughly 18 days, okay? When we reopen, those of you that are in education, our kids, we did such a good job convincing them to not come back, right? They have a sniffle or a headache, stay home. And so all districts in California are suffering from this, but I'm really happy to report that, when we went from 26% in 21-22, which was the year that we reopened, and last year we ended at 21.7, still way too high, but as of now we're at 17.6%. And we also are cognizant that we need to make sure that we have schools that kids want to go to. We don't want them to avoid our schools, and that's one of the many reasons why we talk to our students often. We have focus groups galore to figure out what they're thinking. So a few images of our kids in action. I think they're amazing. I think they're our future, and I think 100% of them can be successful. So we also are very, very proud of our family and community engagement efforts. What you see there, the tree, that's our tree of partnerships. So we partner with dozens of community-based organizations. We can't do this work without our partners. And we opened up our Family and Community Engagement Center that when it is fully developed, and I need help and resources and ideas if you can provide those to me, I want it to be a one-stop shop for our families. I want an immigration attorney there to be available there at any moment. I want housing support to be there. I want a clinic. I want a dentist. I want it all. We've also launched some Parent University courses. We have amazing community partners. You see those listed there. We have Parent Roundtable meetings. Those are on a quarterly basis where we invite dozens and dozens and dozens of parents who are formal leaders and not formal leaders, those that are the true leaders of the community without a title. We have community liaisons or enlace comunitarios that connect the schools with our families. We have a fridge. It was actually created by one of our students. It's a fridge where food is available and no questions asked. Families or students, some staff, sometimes they're able to take the food. And we also have an adult education program that's growing. And so we also have wellness centers at every single one of our schools. We've invested, thank you board, millions of dollars. It's one of the reasons why we're deficit spending, but worth the money to have LCSWs and therapists at our secondaries. We have wellness rooms at our elementary schools. Those are data points. First semester only, 21,000 drop-ins, and we only have 8,000 students. We have 1194 one-on-one sessions with our therapists. We also have some group counseling. Our students are hurting, and education or schools are no longer the places where you go and learn. It's become what the community needs, and in order to provide wraparound supports for all youth. So just a few key highlights. Our graduation has been increasing. This is since 2020, since I've joined the district. We've gone up almost 5%. Our unhoused youth, graduation rate has gone up almost 22%. English learners have gone up 13%. Socioeconomically disadvantaged, 9%. Latino graduation has gone up 6.5, white 6.1, and students with disabilities 3.1. We're still not at 100. You know, we got to go to 100, and you know, my team absolutely knows that that's what our goal is. We've reclassified our students, our English learners, reclassified fluent English proficient. I'm really proud of our very intentional and strategic support around that, so you see the growth in that. Our career and technical ed, I'm incredibly proud of this. This is a former ROP. Remember ROP when we went to school? So we have about 32 career and technical ed pathways at the high schools. We partner with Gavilan College, and we're offering those career and technical ed pathways that start at the high school but conclude with a college class and a college certificate in that particular pathway. And then we also, those are the four at the bottom, or the four pathways that we have with Gavilan: ceramics, construction management, digital media, 3D design. The students in the construction management courses are building tiny homes from scratch, and their goal is to sell those, so eventually it becomes a pathway that we can sustain forever because of the revenue that comes in. And so our current technical ed pathway completion, in order to be a completer, students need to complete over 2 or 3 years courses, and we have 124% completion increase in career and technical ed completers, because we want kids to be college and career ready, right? Prepare them for college, and at the end they want a career. Absolutely, we'll support you. Dual enrollment, and this is really proud of this. This is only a 2-year journey with Gavilan. We started last year, and so if you're not familiar with dual enrollment, it's a quadruple win, because it's high school students take college courses during the day, so they don't have to go after school or before school. It counts for high school credit, and it counts for college credit. It's actually a quintuple win, and it's weighted. It's a boost. So unlike AP, advanced placement, where you have to take a test in May and pass, and passing doesn't guarantee college credit, depends on the university. It's a 3, 4, or 5. With college courses, these are transferable to CSUs and UCs and privates. You pass the class, then you get the college credit. We're really proud of that. We have 600 students. Last year we had 152. This year we have 600. My goal was 1,000, so I tell my team we failed. Happy to report that we're having conversations with San Jose State University as well to offer these dual enrollment courses at the high school level. And then lastly, the third part of my presentation was to share with you what we are doing in Morgan Hill to support our families, our immigrant families. And these are data points that you know. Half of California students are members of immigrant families, in which 1 or more parents are immigrants. 1 in 5 students come from a mixed status family. And 93% of the students we enroll in California are US born. So in Morgan Hill, we have we've curated a resources page on our website, and I'm gonna be super honest with you. What we have on the website is public facing for sure, but we're doing a lot of work, I would call it underground, because in Morgan Hill, there are community members who will out my families and will out my students if we advertise, come to this legal fair, come to this session to learn your rights, or come. So we are providing those supports, but not advertising them, if that makes sense. But the information is out there based on the communication channels that we have. So our website has curated resources. We have a resolution, we've messaged our families. We have done trainings on Know Your Rights. We've done that with parents. We've done that with all the people, all my staff that's there. We've updated our signage to clearly denote the difference between public and private spaces, and among other things. And we're also have partnered with a couple of 501c3s to provide support. What the parents tell us is what they really want and seek is one-on-one FaceTime with immigration attorneys. So I will follow up with you, give me your name and your phone number, and if you can come down and support my families, that would be great. And we're also, we'll be hosting an immigration law firm, and that's in partnership with the Santa Clara County Office of Ed, so thank you to them. That's a little bit of what we're doing. You know, I have an amazing team. I have an amazing board who believes in me. Change is hard. We know what works in education, and like I said when I started, cannot leave things up to chance. We cannot. And if we in the public school system don't do what we need to do to ensure that the odds are in favor of our students, we're going to continue to play catch up. So you have my word that I'm all in, and it's all about our students. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll do hers, and then we'll do questions for Felipe. Is that okay? Thank you. Just highlight again, she's from Morgan Hill Unified School District, Superintendent of the Year in your region, and well-deserved. I mean, the work you are doing is just, it's what we need. And it's important to highlight that you're from Morgan Hill, because what you just spoke about is it's a conservative area. You know, it's in South County. It's important that we have those resources down there because there's not a lot. So appreciate the work you're doing, and hopefully more everywhere else. And then since we brought up Morgan Hill, I know it's on our minds that there was someone who put a Nazi flag last Friday over the overpass. And so today I passed by and there was beautiful other flags, peace and love flags, LGBTQ flags, Mexican flags, UFW. And so, you know, it was nice to see that there's others that are in that community that, you know, we're not going to let hate take over. So thank you for your work. And we're going to go ahead and go to our next guest speaker before we do questions, if that's okay, to give her time. We are going to come back to questions, if that's okay. Just want to make sure, because we don't run out of time for our guest speakers, and then you all can ask questions to both our guest speakers. And then we still have Conexión, and we have Floricanto, so keep it in mind. So Craig, please.
Good evening. Couple things. My name is Craig, co-chair of the Raza Roundtable, and I want to make a couple of acknowledgments before I introduce the next speaker, the undersheriff. First of all, Carla and her husband, thank you for bringing the food. That's awesome, and you know, she donated that in her time, and you know, we're blessed. Thank you very much. The other thing is, I want to acknowledge the presence of Masawani, who, a long time ago when we had different hair color, she was the first person I interviewed at Native Voice Television. And she was my first interview, and you should come back more. It's good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. That was, I think you just started at the Mexican Heritage Plaza. Yeah, my hair was black. Was it? Okay. And the other thing I wanted to mention is the dues. The dues help pay for our food. Today it was donated, but our food and anything that we follow, as you know, well, maybe you haven't noticed, but Tim back here is providing our AV services. He's also updating our website and keeping track of any news. He sends out the flyers, the mailers, and we can't do that with nothing. So we appreciate your help. Please go to larazaroundtable.org to pay your dues, and we'll keep coming. The groups are getting larger. We appreciate everyone here and coming and keep coming back. So, okay, that out of the way. I'd like to introduce our undersheriff, Dalia Rodriguez. She is from El Salvador. She came here in the early 80s. She became a citizen of the U.S. in 97. She holds a bachelor, a BA in poli-sci from San Jose State. She's completed numerous courses, and she attended the FBI National Academy in Quantico. So you'll have to let us know what that's about. Well, or not, yeah. Or should we be concerned? In 2025, Undersheriff Rodriguez was promoted to her current position, and under the general direction of the sheriff, she is responsible for planning, organizing, and directing day-to-day operations of the sheriff's office. She sees a workforce of more than 1,800 sworn and professional staff members providing law services to our county. As undersheriff, She remains dedicated to fostering an agency grounded in respect, collaboration, and strong community partnerships, ensuring that the Sheriff's Office moves forward with purpose and focusing on service for all. So, ladies and gentlemen, Under Sheriff Rodriguez.
Buenas noches, everyone. So I am not a natural speaker, and I cannot follow this presentation. So I'm going to do my very best to provide you the very best that I can. Thank God I had some Chipotle before I got here because it's gonna help me out a lot. So number one, I want to start by just telling you how honored I am to speak with you today, because I think that sometimes wearing the uniform kind of tends to create some divisiveness because people don't understand, people don't want to take the time to listen and to understand our purpose. So I'm going to give you a little bit about myself so that you understand a little bit about why I'm here and why I chose to put the uniform on. Okay, so I came from El Salvador in 1981, and I tell people jokingly that I was kidnapped because I truly was. And here's what happened. So I was born in 1970, question mark. And my mother was a young mom, and she was with my dad, who was a military man. He fought in how do you say it? Let's see, how do you say it in Spanish? I can't say it in Spanish. Es la guerra civil, pero es the military of El Salvador. I don't remember the name. But he had PTSD. And so he didn't know how to cope with dealing with PTSD. And so he decided that the best way to deal with his PTSD was by beating my mother. So at the very young age of 4 years old, my mom decided to leave me to find a better place to live, a better life for herself. And she acknowledged that the only way that she could do that was by leaving El Salvador altogether. Not only was there a civil war, but then there was also a war in the home. I normally don't tell this story, but when you're a child, there's certain things that you remember about your life, right? And there are two prevalent things that I remember. One was the night that I saw my dad shoot my mom, and very, very missed, literally, because there was a hole above her head. And the second part I remember very clearly was the day that my dad said, "Your mom left. She's gone." And that's because she left me behind. And so some people think, like, why would she leave you behind? She left me behind because she understood that the only way that I could have a life was if she left and found a better place for herself to develop herself, to build herself up. And after 4 years, she actually left El Salvador. I was 4 years old. She left my country. She came here. She did exactly that. She built herself back up. And when I was 8 years old, she kidnapped me. So that's how I ended up in this country. And it's kind of a sad story, but a joyful story, because I think she gave me an opportunity to be where I am at today. And so people often ask us, like, why are you in law enforcement? I'm in law enforcement because I'm a product of violence. Not only did I see it in my country, with different things going on. I mean, remember driving very clearly with my dad, because again, I was with my dad, my mom, he was here. And I remember driving through a street, and there was military on one side, and there was rebels on the other side, and they were shooting at each other. And my dad said, "Duck down." Okay, duck down. And so things like that are things that kind of stick in your head, right? And those are the things that mold you to who you are today. And so as I was growing up, I didn't know the language. I came here when I was 8 years old. I had to speak English. I had to learn the language. I had to understand the new culture, because it is a culture shock when you first get here. And that was something that I was able to handle because I had a very strong mother who was very dedicated to making sure that I was educated, because that was the one thing that she understood. She understood that the only way that I could ever be better was for me to have an education, so she constantly pushed that. She was a housekeeper, and as a 9-year-old girl, she took me to work whenever she could, and she said, "This is what I do for a living. Is this what you want to do for yourself?" If it's not what you want to do, then you need to get an education. I was the first one in my family to get a college degree. I'm one of 4 sisters. The first one in my family to own a home. The first one in my family to have a full career. And since then, now my 3 other sisters, one unfortunately passed away at the young age of 32, breast cancer. But the other 2 sisters, one has a master's from USC, and she actually works with families to try to build businesses in the Latino community. So she has she calls it an incubator. So she basically brings them in, she teaches them what they need, builds business plans, those kinds of things. My other sister is a realtor and she has her own business. So we've all really done well for ourselves, and that's, again, because we're a product of our environment. Now let's talk about the fun stuff. Now, I do have a degree in political science, and as a matter of fact, when I was in San Jose State, I went to an event and I was able to see some wonderful dancers. And at the time, it's called Tezcatlipoca. So I too have the first time that I met Tamara was way back in the early 90s. And I danced with Tezcatlipoca for a couple of years. I was able to travel with them and do some cultural education to some of the kids in Arizona and Oregon, and it was really a fun time. I think we only got paid like $50 or something like that, but it was a ton of fun to be out there dancing with the kids and showing them about the culture, so that was really amazing. But I did come to work for the sheriff's office, and again, one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to help my community, and I wanted to be able to be a resource for them, because I recognize that in our community, again, when you see the uniform, you're already off the bat scared. You're like, what's going to happen to me? Why are they coming to me? Why are they talking to me, right? So speaking the language and understanding where they come from and what their struggles and what their experiences is absolutely, it's important for us to understand. So when I walk into a room, it's a little bit easier for people to actually be able to tell me their story, to be able to talk to me, to be able to feel more comfortable. And that's what I aim to do. I aim to be kind of like that liaison to continue to build our community and to change some of the things that we're doing as a law enforcement, right? So this is the part where I ask you guys questions. When you guys think about policing, what is it that you think about? This is the part where you guys raise your hands and you say, arrests. Is it necessary? Absolutely. But is there a different way of doing it? Yes. And that is the part that comes with training and education. That's the part that comes with with showing that you have empathy and that you understand that there's a deeper problem in the things that are happening in our communities. And what are the things that we can do to mitigate those things that are happening in our community? Is it a lack of education? Is it a fact that they don't have good employment? Is there some kind of alcohol abuse or drug abuse? Is there issues that are happening in the home that are leading to us going to those homes and making arrests? What are those things that we can mitigate to prevent those from happening? And I think that's important for people to understand, right? But it's also important to also understand that there are some arrests that are needed, and that is, again, because we want to help the vulnerable. And there are people in our community that they can't help themselves. So we have to be able to provide them resources, and we have to be able to help them in whatever way we can. And that's why we, as a community, need to come together and be able to do that for them, right? What else should policing be about? Sir?
Officers of all kinds have a lot of discretion.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, unfortunately, still see a lot of bias. Like some things, oh, that's free speech. Oh, that's not allowed. Just one example is one example.
Right, and absolutely, I think that we as a community, we have to be able to be real when we need to be real and not give any sides, right? Because you're right, we do have the right to free speech, and unfortunately, and I'll be completely frank right now and talk about the situation that's happening in Morgan Hill. It's a very concerning situation because obviously we want to be able to give people the opportunity to speak, but at the same time, we have to be able to be cognizant of what that message is saying, right? And what is that message doing to the rest of our community? In this situation, unfortunately, we did have the opportunity to go and speak to the gentleman, and he was cited. Now we're waiting for the district attorney to decide what they're going to do with that particular case. I did drive up earlier today, and CHP was out there. That particular area is actually CHP's. The land it's on one side is unincorporated, which is actually Santa Clara County, and the other side is Morgan Hill. So that portion that you see in the middle, that is CHP proper, which means that they're responsible for citing and doing criminal arrests and things of that nature. So I'm not sure if you guys were all aware of that, but just want to make sure that we put that out. But yes, there is discretion, but I think that what we're trying to do is we're trying to educate our staff, educate our men and women that there are biases, whether we recognize them or not. Every single one of us has a bias. Every single one of us does. It's just a matter of how you understand it, and as soon as you're able to recognize it and monitor it yourself, so that you could say, if this person was any other color, if this person had any other name, would I be treating them the same, right? And just recognizing that we all have that, and putting yourself in check in those situations where you think that you're not being biased, but you really are, right? So that's just my 2 cents on that. That's probably not what you wanted to hear, but. Sir.
There's a saying in the military. Situation determines the course of action.
True.
And as police officers, one has to size up or has to look at the situation and then make the adjustment, which means to who? Black, brown, or white. Not just have the same attitude. So one's got to, it's a hard job, okay? But still, we are supposed to learn how to make the adjustment. Military trip, that's how you survive the jungle of who? Mortal man and woman.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's, again, that comes with, number one, hiring the right people, right? Because this profession is not about just hiring regular, everyday people. This profession is about hiring people that have a certain standard, that meet a center standard, that have a certain moral compass, that are able to work with integrity, are able to communicate, and are able to be empathetic to the situations of the community. And so when we hold interviews, we ask those kinds of questions. When we talk to them, when we do trainings, we provide those resources. When there's mistakes that are made, we are the first ones to say, you make a mistake, you're going to be now you're going to be the one that's going to have to sit down and explain why that decision was made, and hold them accountable for their behavior. And so one of the things that our sheriff's office has been able to do is, in the last year or so, we actually provide reports to the board that highlight, here are our uses of force. These are under the circumstances why these situations happen. Here are our internal affairs investigations. These are the investigations that are being conducted, so that we have open door and transparency as to some of the things that we're dealing and how we are mitigating those actions. Ma'am.
So I've been a county employee for like 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
For at least 20, I was part of the office that was tracking the overrepresentation of Latinos in every part of the county system. Like 70, 80% of the arrests of people incarcerated, of people in juvenile hall, of people in child protective services. So that was tracked for many years. So I would like to receive an update from the sheriff's office on what has changed, whether the percentages have changed, whether it's the same percentage but a different number, because I think that's important data for us as a county to track whether we're improving outcomes, because a lot of it is structural. It's not just, I understand that there's individual law enforcement officers, individual reasons of why people decide to join things, and they can make a difference. But the structural issues are still the structural issues. So I really would like an update of that data, and maybe you've given it, but I haven't been coming to Raza Roundtable that often. So I would like to get an update about what that data is for the sheriff in terms of arrests, in terms of percentages in the jails, in a demographic context, please.
That is amazing. I love that you asked that question, because we actually have it on our website. So if you go to our website, we currently have dashboards that actually explain, like, for example, it gives you information on the demographics, the number of people that are incarcerated, the number of people that, based on gender, based on nationality. It also gives you demographics on how many of those are misdemeanors, how many are felonies, how the length of stay of each person that is incarcerated, as well as the number of programs and the people that participate in different programs. I believe that's in there too. So that information is on the website if you'd like to take a look at it.
By the top of your head, do you remember what the Latino percentage is?
I want to say that, and that's funny because when Dr. here showed the demographics as far as what the population looked like for your school, it's very similar to the school as well as similar to the overall population. So
The Latino population is 26, 27% in Santa Clara County. Are you telling me it's 54% of those incarcerated?
I have to look at the population from Santa Clara County, but I thought it was a little bit more than that.
No, because I track it.
Do you?
Yeah,
Okay. I have to look at it again. Yeah, I have to look at it again. I want to say it's about 50, maybe a little less than that, at least. But again, I'm looking at but I'm looking at overall population. So I'd have to look at it again. But we do a board report, and it provides that data. Actually, as a matter of fact, we are going to the board in late April to talk about use of force, and it's going to give you demographics on population, use of force. It's going to give you information on dates of state, things of that nature.
And then my last question is, there was a Latino that was killed in the jail.
Yes.
What kind of update do you have on that?
So that was, again, that was very tragic, right? We don't, it's a very sad situation because the person was an immigrant, and he was there for a very short amount of day. He was there for less than a day, actually. And because of that incident, we've actually had to look at some of our processes and some of our policies to see what we can do to mitigate those types of situations. And we have made several changes within the camp to try to mitigate the assaults and the violence that is occurring there. A lot of the changes are already happening. We are going to be sending out a communique to the community in regards to what those changes look like. And part of those changes is, because I think you kind of touched on it a little bit too, was it's not enough for us to look at the number of how many people do we have incarcerated, right? How many are Latinos, how many are African American, how many are white or Asian? That's not enough. It's not about the numbers. It's about what it is that you're providing. What services are you providing the individuals that are incarcerated so that they can be better when they come out? And how do they reintegrate to the community, right? Because if we're just housing them, anybody can be housed. But what services are you providing to ensure that when they come out, that they have a better outcome and that they're not going to be doing the same thing over and over again? We're trying to break a cycle. How do you break that cycle? You break that cycle by providing programs that are meaningful, that are actually teaching people how to re-enter society. And that's one of the things that we're going to be doing, and we'll provide more information as more things become concrete. But one of the focus points for the sheriff has been to build rehabilitative programs that are aimed to providing education, providing technical skills, and providing that additional resources that incarcerated individuals require, so that when they come out, they're not lost. We don't want people to get lost. We want people to have resources. We want people to have care so that we don't see them again. So that's one of the things that we're working on currently. Sir.
Could I just comment? Vanessa, your point is very well received. The Raza Roundtable did meet with the sheriff and the undersheriff regarding that situation, and we are committed to continue to follow up on what the steps they'll be taking to mitigate.
Yeah.
Quick comment. I just wanted to, I'm sorry. Quick comment, just wanted to let you know, one way to kind of, when you see an officer, sheriff, police department, San Jose PD, whoever, if you have a chance, tell them that, thank you for your service. Because they, officers and police people, put their life on the line every day and night. Okay, and they appreciate when we thank them, because it's a good way to at least break the ice and know they need to know that we also look out for them in the community. I'm also part of our neighborhood watch program, which, I tell neighbors, we need to put some of those signs and let people know that we're watching one another. Very important thing to do. So just wanted to share that one.
I appreciate that, and I just want to share one thing, and the reason why that's important, right? The reason why that's important is because sometimes when you're in the profession, like a law enforcement profession, you see the worst of humanity on an everyday basis, right? And not everything is rosy and happy and pretty, right? You see, you get called to the worst. When do people call you? They call you when they need help, right? So you go to the domestic violence and you see the husband beating up the wife. So you go to the child abuse, right? So you go to the accident, right? So you go to the DUI where someone ran a red light and hit a car and killed 4 people. Those are the bad things that we respond to, right? So for us, sometimes there are situations where in order to block the negativity that you're seeing on every day, you start making light of things. And that is not good. It's not a good way to handle things. I'll be honest. That's a horrible way to handle things, right? So every now and then when you do see a person that's wearing a uniform, saying thank you from the heart means a lot. And it means that there are people in the community that still care and that acknowledge that the work that we do every day is hard. And that acknowledge that it's an important job, right? We're not here to make the arrest. We don't want to make the arrests. We're here to help the vulnerable. We're here to help the voiceless. We are here to help the people that have no other recourse but to dial 911. And do those situations always end well? No, they don't. But I'm going to tell you that out of, 48,000 calls that we handle, I want to say that less than 10% of those calls end in a bad situation, right? So out of all those calls that we go to, 10%, little less than 10% end in bad situations. So keep that in mind. And again, thank you for the comment, and thank you for your service, sir. I think that was it. I'm getting cut off, girls. Guys, sorry.
I'll give you a chance right now. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the story that you told us and trying to create, that relationship and giving us insight of your life, because oftentimes so many people don't understand that police officers are just like us. We all have a story and we're all part of that puzzle. So thank you.
Thank you for that, little sister. And yes, we still have 2 more presenters. Yes.
I'm going to say in Spanish, okay? I've been working in the community for the last 20 years. And el señor Mata que estaba aquí, empezamos a conocer todo, trabajar con la comunidad. Recuerdo antes, los niños veían un oficial o algo así, les daba pánico o algo. Estamos trabajando en las bibliotecas con los jóvenes que vienen a las escuelas, trayéndoles pizza, invitando al capitán, invitando a los oficiales para que tengan una relación más. Y he visto que eso ayuda bastante para ellos. Es cierto, están en peligro todo el tiempo. Y a veces nosotros no agradecemos lo que hacen por nosotros y por nuestra comunidad. Porque seguro que si seguimos trabajando con los jóvenes, la ciudad y todo, porque los jóvenes son el futuro de todo el mundo. Si trabajamos juntos va a ser un futuro mejor para todos. Gracias.
Thank you. I know we have a lot, and if you all are okay staying a little bit over, then that's okay. I just, I want to be respectful of everybody, but I want to thank you too, Under Sheriff Rodriguez, for being here and for taking this invitation. And both of these mujeres, think about it. You have a superintendent mujer, Latina in Morgan Hill, and you have an undersheriff, which is the second in command, right? Del sheriff of Santa Clara County, mujer aquí Latina, who shared her story. So really quick, please acknowledge both of them. They didn't break the glass, they broke the cement, right? And both of them talked about our vulnerable populations. And it's interesting, right, how we have the education, the school, where that's our future and our students. And then you have, unfortunately, the reality, and I appreciate aquí mi amiga Teresa for bringing up the reality that Black and brown and indigenous people make up the jail system still and arrest. That's not your fault, it's a system, right? And here we are trying to break those, and that's why we have to have these hard conversations. And you've been available to have those conversations, so muchas gracias. Que viva! And then how interesting that our Floricanto guest speaker is a social worker. Hello. So it's like school, social work, right? But before she comes on, I think we have one more. We have Lori. Where is Lori? From Conexión. And then I wanted to make sure, because we did do a little bit of dialogue with our undersheriff, but was there any question for our superintendent, Dr. Garcia?
I was just gonna ask one question. That, you know, right now, we're doing a lot of talking about numbers, data, charts, because we're involved, most of us here are used to working with institutions and all that. But I wanted to ask either of you, no, excuse me, superintendent, if I'm a middle class, I mean, just a basic family, you know, I'm not, and I have 2 4th grade schools to send my kid, what would you advise me, how would I judge between which school to send my kid? What are some things I could do to know where to go?
I believe that any school that you decide to send your child to will be able to provide both of your children with the best education possible. That is my mission. Education cannot be a zero-sum game where there are clear winners and losers, and that continues to perpetuate in many school districts. Our goal is to make sure that every school is amazing.
Thank you. So we have Lori with also some youth to speak.
Thank you. Again, Lori Ramos Chavez with Connection. I just want to thank, on behalf of Connection, La Raza Roundtable for this long partnership. I've been involved, worked for Connection 28 years, but involved with the Roundtable 30 years, so I know it's longer than that. So thank you to La Raza Roundtable. But, thank you. But I want to have one of our students and then a longtime employee speak about one of the youth program. And why don't you introduce yourself and tell them.
Hello, my name's Angelina Alcudia, and I'm a junior at YB, and I currently want to be a nurse practitioner, and I've been in the program for 3 years already. This is my 3rd year, and I think that's a really good program because it provided me support with my homework and also has provided me support with like emotionally. And I really like that about it because I had like a really bad childhood, and I really think like that affected me a lot, and then they would help me. And plus I also met new people. I have interacted with new people, and I really opened up to new things, and that's really helped me. And they also have this mentoring program, and my mentor was Marie, and she also has helped me. And I really liked how she has helped me with many stuff. She would take me out. She would also ask me questions of like my life and all that stuff. And I also like their outings, which has also affected me too, because I would be away from all the stuff, get a time of rest to unstress myself. And I also want to thank Mabel, Caroline, Marie for helping me a lot in this program.
Good evening again, everyone. So that's Angelina, and she's just a sweetheart, and she helped some of our newbies that came on with Bright Futures during our camping trip. We camped at Redwood Glen in Santa Cruz just this President's Weekend. Normally we go to Martin Luther King weekend, but it was raining that day. So I'm going to talk about Bright Futures first. So I'm a recruiter for mentors for Bright Futures, and there are 2 schools that we work with, Yerba Buena and Overfelt, from freshmen to seniors. And it's only required that you take 4 hours out of your monthly time to engage with the youth, an hour a week. We do have community meetings, that we have activities, and we have a lot of fun stuff. The kids help out with the Mexica New Year. They go camping. We're going to plan a barbecue coming up in May. And but these children, they're very delightful. They're kind of standoffish at the very beginning, but they start warming up to you like your own children, you know. So I put, actually Angelina did, she put some door hangers on your chairs there about Bright Futures. And so if you're interested, just scan the the code there, and then I will pull it up and I'll give you a call, and I can give you some more information. And we will have a mentors training class. But again, it's rewarding. It's not just rewarding for the youth, but you're also going to get something out of it. I can guarantee it. So another item I'd like to bring to you is this that's on your chair as well. This is the Day Worker Center. So this supports parolees, probation, undocumented, and homeless. Okay, so we get homeowners or employers such as yourself that would give us a call saying, you know what, I'm having a party this weekend and I need my house cleaned. We send someone out to you. By the end of the day, you pay them cash, 2 hours minimum. Okay, so our workers go anywhere. I hired 5 workers to go clean up my mom and dad's house and their yard in Watsonville, and they all went and did an excellent job. Not because I was standing there watching their shoulder, okay? I wasn't. My sisters were, and they're worse. So they go to Fresno, they go to Sacramento, they just go anywhere. We can go to Clovis too. The only thing is you're probably just gonna have to pay for gas. Yeah. So there's not a lot of day workers centers here. 2 more just popped up, one in Redwood City and one in San Francisco. There is one in Mountain View, but we're not affiliated with each other. So if you know anybody that is needing this, you might see me walking down. I go to Morgan Hill, and I do put this on the doors at Morgan Hill because some of them have gone to Morgan Hill and Gilroy for work. Today I went to Branham area over by Hayes Mansion, and I hung some there. Sometimes I go to Mountain View, Los Gatos. I will go anywhere to get our women and our men employment, okay? We do enroll them in HMIS, which is Homeless Management Information Systems, for them to get housing if they are homeless. Also, we are also working with PATH, People Assisting the Homeless, that will help them with their residency. They just received some funding, so they will help them fill out the forms and also pay for their filing. It's Day Worker Center at Conexión is such a great program. Not only do we do all this besides case management, they're able to take a shower, they're able to wash their clothes, and they're able to get a hot meal. Some of them do not want to come into Conexión to the Day Worker Center because they're kind of like a little shy, but we do have to-go lunches when they come to the door. So if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call, and we can answer all your questions. Have been here not as long as Lori. I think I wasn't able to work the time that she started. No, just kidding. I wasn't old enough. No, I've been with Conexión for 13 years. So, I started with Juvenile Hall and Ranch. Actually, I started with the fiscal department and the Juvenile Hall and Ranch, and now I'm working with the adults and the youth. And that's where my passion is, also with the youth, because Carmen, no, I was going to call you your title, I'm sorry. Like she says, they are our future. I believe they are our future. So and a lot of them are already thinking what they want to do when they get out of high school, and some of them are freshmen and sophomore, and usually they don't know what they want to do when they're a junior or senior, but they're already thinking ahead. So again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Conexión. And Angelina, you were brave and you did a great job, and you represent our youth, so we appreciate you. And the mujeres. So now we've added this Floricanto portion of our meeting, and then we'll do announcements. But this is my friend, Rebecca Perez Ochoa, and a social worker, and I call her Maestra. She is awesome. She knows so much. She's good people. We had a little description of her, but I'm just telling you from my heart that she's creative and she's awesome, and you're going to hear her spoken word right now, so please listen.
Can I move this a little bit? I'm loud, so I want to. I think that. Can you hear me? This spoken word is entitled Barrio Beautiful and Beautiful in the Barrio. Let me get this. It's where I learned about faith. It's where I learned about love. It's where I learned about family, even though sometimes they're not blood. I'm so proud, no shame in my shout, no ifs, ands, or get gives about it. Pura Latina, pura Mexicana, pura Chicana, pura Boricua, las Hondurusitas, Dominicanitas, de Cuba, de Panamá, del Salvador, del norte, del sur, América, mujeres libertadas, bendecidas. Gracias, familia, for the prayers that shield us, heal us, fill us, and build us. Me, mis hermanas, mis primas, mis amigas, loving, forgiving, committing. It's what's made me. It's what's kept me. My soul and my pride, it protects me. Barrio beautiful, and beautiful in the barrio. My life, my fights, my rights. In and out, accept it with and without a doubt. Both feet here, both feet there. Look at us, shades of brown everywhere. There's no burden of representation. There's no suggestion of disqualification. It's what I am, it's who I be, it's what enhances me. There's no hoping I would have been different. There's no crying because of my equipment. There's no apologies. I am sufficient. There's no excuses for my herencia. It's my strength, my going forward, my stepping out. It's saying, I'm an independent woman. Check me out. Everywhere I go, the barrio's in my heart and soul. I'm beautiful because of it. It's where I get my flow, my glow, my high, my low, my no, my go. That's what makes me barrio beautiful. I don't need my name in lights. What I need is my familia by my side. It's called the bloodline. It's in my veins. Generations spoken to me saying, no shame. It's where you were born, where you were made. Be beautiful and achieve. Our barrio, our joy, our streets. Yes, darkness and struggles, and good times. Mi tía, mi nana, y mi mama at my side. They said, hazle la lucha con ganas y todo lo que quieres, lo puedes hacer. They told me to be humble and to be proud and to thank God for every test. And when I make it out, come back, mija, because here in our arms, you will rest. I am next, carrying my generations to be beautifully barrio blessed.
So that's why we do this, right? These are difficult times that we're living through, and people, thank you for sharing your personal stories. Those are important to share, and then you hear her, right? Just put it together for us. So that was beautiful. Thank you, Maestra, for doing that. Rebecca Perez Ochoa, social worker, mujer. And then, yes?
And Oakville High School graduate.
Ah. And she made the salsa. Please try it. Okay, so thank you, everyone. We have, if I could do an announcement, and then whoever wants to do some, you can line up here and follow. But we have an open house. Amparo, she's shy. She's right there. She's opening a center, a daycare, Joyful Learning Center, April 11th at 3 p.m. Location is 2887 McLaughlin Avenue. We have a flyer we could post and share. Thank you for your work too, Amparo. Okay, thank you, everyone. Go ahead, announcements? Yes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Eugene Bradley. I am the founder of the Silicon Valley Transit Users, a public transit advocacy and watchdog group. Now that the VTA transit strike is over, just a couple of things. City of San Jose is looking for folks to serve on its Bikes Pedestrian Committee. Also, VTA is looking for 4 people to serve on its 2016 Measure B Watchdog Committee. People like you get involved. It's the only way things can be better for everybody. So if you're interested in joining either committee, I can hook you up. Call me at 408-888-888-2208 for more information. Thank you.
I'm Ramon Martinez from La Raza Historical Society, and I want to tell you what you're going to do tomorrow. We're having an Afro-Latino festival across the street in History Park, beginning at noon till 6. And we have a house that we're finishing rehabbing. Our house is next door to the African-American house, and then that house is next to the Vietnamese house. One of the things that those of us who are history geeks know is that we all know our own history, but we don't know the other guy's history. So that's what we're doing. We're having programs where the different groups come together. The Vietnamese House doesn't know that 25,000 Chicanos were casualties in Vietnam. The homeless you talk about, that's our people who were broken in that war. But they don't know that. The African Americans don't know that Miguel Hidalgo led the Mexican Revolution, the Mexican independence. They hung him in a year. But he was followed by an African American man. He was a mixed African Mexican, Morelos, who was also then followed by another Vicente Guerrero. And we don't know that. And they're the ones who banned slavery immediately in 1820 when Mexico finally got its independence. Last, you're going to hear speakers about all that stuff, but we're going to have rappers. We're going to have a music group from a couple of groups from Oakland, which are our Latino music roots. And lastly, we're going to have speakers about Latin American baseball. In the old days of segregation, the Negro leagues, they had to play each other, then they had nothing to do for the rest of the year. They went to Latin America. They set Latin America on fire, right? That's why you have a Roberto Clemente and the giant baseball. Latin America all over has soccer, and it's got baseball, and you're going to hear more about that. Thank you. Free. It's free.
My name is Alberto Carrillo, Sr. I'm retired from the Office of Human Relations in the county. And one real quick thing that we need to do, I'm trying to recruit more Latinas and Latinos into the civil grand jury. They need our help. They need our input. They need for us to be there. So, por favor, try to pass the word on. Call here. They have my name and number here. But it's important, try to pass the word. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mira, tengo un miedo, pero no te me rajes, Chicano style. Y Rebecca me abrió del mental, comenzó la sangre corriendo. ¿Y para dónde iba la sangre? To the soul de quién? Los chicanos, los mexicanos, ¿para qué es para? Rebecca, mira, las Adelitas. En Zacatecas hay un dicho, no hay México sin la sangre de las mujeres que corrió las calles de Zacatecas. So she brought this out, and it just happened I had this picture of las Adelitas de Mexico, and these are my roses from my garden. So to me, she brought out, pues si no fuera para las mujeres, mira, some of us would not be here at all, but they gave us la gana y que no se me rajen. Myself, I'm from a little born and raised in Soledad, Chole. And a little bit of the military came out a little while ago, right? For me, it hurts. So, there were some nice GIs. There were some nice Filipinas. So I got married over there in the Philippines, in the Catholic Church. So before I got married, I had to go to a couple of sessions. And then before I got transferred back to the States, I had to sign, my wife and I had to sign an affidavit that said, you are considered white. Mi esposa is not considered white. So if you get stationed, Jim Crow states, your marriage is illegal. Wow. And I had to sign that in the military, can you? And then I'm supposed to just be quiet. Toma cabrones. No, hey, I'm Chicano style. Mi sangre corre. And to me, aquí todos hacemos de la misma, excuse some of my words you can't, but I'm also Chicano. Hacemos la misma sangre. Pero como el Señor made us different, black, brown, white, yellow, orange, different what wisdoms. But can you imagine when we put it together, what do we got? No, you know what we got? We got one soul of many, un corazón. We are still familia, but we are different. That's why then God tests to see you are going to be able to respect each other's differences, whether it's black, brown, white, or Chino, Mexicano, or lo que sea. So I better stop, because once I get going
With that, that's our meeting. Thank you, everybody, for staying. And there's still food. Please take some. My husband said, tell him to take the chicken. So thank you to our guests, Dr. Carmen Garcia, Under Sheriff Rodriguez, and Rebecca Perez Ochoa. En Conexión.
This belongs to eat.
Okay,
Something to
I'll
eat.
make sure to sign up and get my membership. Yeah, of course. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being so welcoming. And then Carla and her husband.